One of the biggest Night City legends that we hear about throughout the Cyberpunk 2077 story is Morgan Blackhand. And even though no one has seen him in years, he's still believed to be alive. In the story, we consider V a solo. They take on gigs by themselves, but Blackhand is considered to be a solo with years of experience and ops under his belt. And as much as I would like to talk about Morgan Blackhand's history dating all the way back to 1980, we're here to talk about his build. And let me tell you, this guy is a walking cyber psycho. Now, I do want to mention majority of the cyberware and the gear that's included in the wiki profile of Morgan Blackhand is stuff that we can't really gain access to, but we can substitute it in for stuff that's either the same benefit or is going to make this build even more powerful. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is cyberware because the amount of stuff this guy has is insane. I'm surprised he hasn't gone cyber psycho yet. But he has a neural processor, a Sandevistan boost, smart gun and vehicle links, for his hands, interface plugs, a chipware socket, nasal filters. Who knows what this man's going to be breathing? I mean, you could automatically negate poison effects with that. That'd be cool to have. 2 cyber optics, so that means each eye can pick up different things. It has a targeting scope, low light, infrared, anti-dazzle, and has a right cyberarm, which includes number 1, rippers, which is literally just claws on each finger. It's not like the mantis blades, it's actually like on his hand. A heavy SMG stored in his arm with microwave EMP shielding, hydraulic rams, which pretty much makes the arm ginormous. It's like a gorilla arm, essentially. Muscle and bone lace, and then nanosurgeons, which are essentially nanites that heal you. I tried to take what I could from that list and min-max it here in these cyberware slots. So first off, for the operating system, I do want to talk about this. Obviously, it says Sandevistan boost, so we're obviously going to be rocking a Sandevistan. I opted for the Militech Falcon Sandevistan. It slows down time by 70%, plus 10% damage, crit chance, and crit damage. When you neutralize an enemy, it extends the duration and gives you plus 10% health. Now, I know a lot of people would rather have the Militech Apogee Sandevistan. It slows time more, gives you more headshot crit chance, and damage, gives you an extended duration, but it gives you a boost to your stamina instead. You could totally rock this one if you would like. I just thought that the Militech Falcon kind of falls in a little better considering we definitely want to have that health back. Now, going over the frontal cortex, obviously we're going to need self-ice here to negate any enemy quick hack against us. I like mechatronic core, so we have the boost to damage against drones, robots, mechs, and turrets. Again, at tier 5++, it's plus 40% damage. And then I also like axolotl here, so it's a minus 7.5% cooldown. This is at tier 5++, so keep that in mind. Instantly for all cyberware after neutralizing an enemy. Essentially, with each enemy we kill, we get a reduction to mainly our Sandevistan and pretty much all of our other cyberware that's on a timer across the board, including self-ice and other ones that I'm going to mention. On your arm cyberware, we do have a variety of options. I personally like the projectile launch system. Again, this is the rocket launcher on the arm. Obviously, this is probably the closest thing to having a weapon inside the arm. Like I said, it would be cool to have the SMG that's inside of Morgan Blackhand's arm as an option for an arm cyberware. Again, that would be sick, but again, we unfortunately don't have that. But if you want to be canonical, I would say either go with the projectile launch system. You could go with gorilla arms as well. Again, like he said, he has heavy duty arms, so you could go with those, and then you'd be able to use grenades, in your gear slot if you would like. Or if you want to stick with the rippers, with the claws, you could go with the mantis blades. Now, under the skeleton, I'm going to be using bionic joints. Again, it's armor, simple and effective, low cyberware cost. We get a lot of armor over here on our right side, so definitely put that on. I like epimorphic skeleton because it gives us a straight percentage bonus to our maximum health, which we definitely want to take advantage of. And then for the third one, I'm going with the iconic version of the Parabellum, which is the Rah-Rah Avis. It's a plus 39% armor boost to our armor, which is going to be a huge bonus for us. Under the nervous system, I opted for Neofiber, so it's a straight bonus percentage to our mitigation chance and strength, which will allow us to take reduced incoming damage a majority of the time here. I like Reflex Tuner as well, so slows down time by 60% for 4.5 seconds when your health drops below 25%. This is basically just like a panic mode thing, so if our health drops below 25%, we don't have any type of healing left. It's a good way to get out of an engagement. And then lastly, adrenaline converter, so we get plus 40% movement speed for 9 seconds when entering combat. You definitely want to take advantage of that extra speed right off the bat. Now, under the integumentary system, first up here, we're going to be using chitin. This is probably the closest thing to those nanites that I mentioned that will give us better health regen. So it's an extremely durable subcutaneous shell made of genetically modified chitin, provides additional health regen. And if you look at our body attune trait there, it says plus 10% health regen rate per attribute point. And since we have 20 on our body, we're going to be gaining 200% health regen rate, which is just absolutely nuts. Next up, I'm using subdermal armor. So it's armor, simple and effective, low cyberware cost, solid boost armor. And then lastly, I'm using the cellular adapter, which comes with a variety of bonuses that's based on our tech skill, which, by the way, our tech skill is going to be 20 out of 20. So we're going to be getting the max bonuses for this. So we get 20% explosion resistance, 10% tech weapon damage, which we're really not going to take advantage of, but the last two are very important, which is we get 10% health item recharge speed and 10% grenade recharge speed, which is tied to our projectile launch system. If you want to use the cellular adapter, you have to make sure under the tech skill tree, you are rocking the built different perk, so you got to make sure this is on. Now for our optics, we have nothing that is like the optics that he used, which gives us, infrared and everything like that, but the Kuroshi Oracle optics are pretty close, and the reason being is because it highlights enemies within 19.5 meters through cover. So you can literally highlight enemies through walls as long as you are within 20 meters of them. That basically gives you wall hacks for free with these optics here. It also highlights cameras and turrets and explosive devices and traps. You pretty much can scan everything across the board with these optics. Under the hand cyberware, first up here, I am going to be using the shock absorber. So we get a minus 24% to recoil for all of our weapons across the board, so we have better control of them. And as you can see, it's cool attuned, so we get bonus headshot and weak spot damage with our weapons. And then secondly, we obviously are going to be using the smart link, which enables us to use smart weapon targeting with our smart weapons. And with the tier 5++ version, we get plus 20% target lock duration, plus 50% crit damage with smart weapons as well. Under the circulatory system, first up here, I'm going to be using heal on kill, so we get a percentage of our health back whenever we neutralize an enemy. Next up here, I like the biomonitor, so it automatically heals you with your equipped health item when your health drops below 35%, and has a plus 60% health item effectiveness, so pretty much we don't have to worry about using our health item. Like whenever we're weak, it'll automatically happen with the biomonitor here, so we don't have to worry about it, which I feel like is something that Morgan Blackhand would do. And then lastly, I'm going to be using clutch padding here, so we get a stamina reduction cost for shooting our weapons. Under your leg cyberware, you can use whatever you like, but I think reinforced tendons is the best option, giving you the mid-air double jump, which I think a lot of people are going to opt for. But if you did want to be fairly realistic, you could go with the Leroy ligament system, which is a straight bonus percentage to your movement speed overall, so you could go with those as well. But again, you can use what you like. In regards to stats and upgrading your cyberware, again, one thing to make sure you do is under the tech ability, make sure to take off one, so you have one perk point to put on chipware connoisseur, because when you go to upgrade a piece of armor, it actually gives you multiple options to choose from here. So again, I have its original one, health explosion melee, melee health item, dodge, dash, stamina, reloading, weapon speed, aim speed. I think for this one, I definitely want to go with the original one, so I have that giant boost to health, considering this is a cyberware piece that is focused around that. Now let's talk about some weapons and gear that you could substitute in for this build, considering everything that I'm about to mention that Morgan Blackhand had is no longer available. So first up, the big one being the heavy SMG that was in his Cyberarm 12mm SMG. Cannot get that anymore, obviously. The Malorian Assault Cannon, which was an assault rifle, but it shot smart grenades, which would track targets. We have the Militech Viper SMG, which is a smart SMG. The Colt AMT 2000, which was a smart pistol. We have a smart chip Militech M31A1, which was a grenade launcher, which we don't have that in the game. We have something that's close to it. And then he also used a variety of hand grenades. Now, the first weapon on this list is something that I believe is very fitting for the build, which is the iconic smart shotgun, the Xing Chong. Now, I know I said a shotgun, but it is a rocket launcher that fires explosive rounds. This weapon can smart target up to 6 enemies simultaneously. Everything caught in the blast radius is torn to shreds. Be careful. That goes for you too. At low health, reload speed and burn chance is increased. Now, there's only one way to get this shotgun, and it is by completing your final mission in the Cyberpunk 2077 story. Make sure you have a point of no return save. It should give you a warning before you start the final mission saying, hey, by the way, there's no turning back from this. You have to complete this all the way through before we can start anything new. And at the ending credits, you'll get an option to do one more gig, and you'll spawn pretty much right outside of the Embers location again, and you'll get a variety of rewards that you've gained throughout that playthrough. But the main thing is that you gain an access token for a locked room in the Ebonike docks, where you gain Johnny Silverhand's pistol, and that is actually pretty much Adam Smasher's apartment, and that's how you gain the shotgun. Now, most of the other weapons are up to interpretation. Again, he mostly used smart weapons, so for the rest of these weapons on the list, that is what I'm going to be talking about. So first up, I would recommend looking into the Divided We Stand. Again, rounds deal increased damage, but have a chance to lose target, lock, and miss. Again, kind of sucks, but you can smart target up to 5 enemies simultaneously, though at the cost of accuracy. Bullets may cause chemical explosions that apply heavy poison effects. Next on the list is an iconic smart SMG, the Chesapeake, which is a Twitch Prime specific drop. Now note, I don't believe you can get this SMG anymore. If you got it at the time, fantastic. Note, Twitch will be having a variety of weapons be dropping out through the next couple of months. There's still plenty of weapons on the wiki page that haven't even been on Twitch Prime yet, so those will be coming out, I assume, soon. So if you already have Twitch and Twitch Prime, Amazon Prime, whatever, definitely look into it to see if you can get any free iconic weapons. Fire rate increases with each consecutive shot, and unleash the power of the pack. Gain increased movement speed on kills and dismemberments. The faster you move, the more damage you deal, and if you have other Bargus weapons that you're using, they gain increased armor penetration. So there's a variety of bonuses with this SMG. Next smart SMG on the list is the Pizdets. So fire rate increases with each consecutive shot. It's the same type as the Chesapeake, but thanks to Boris's mods, the longer this weapon fires, the greater the crit chance, and comes with its own custom silencer. So if you wanted to take more of a, silenced approach to this, you totally can. This is the only silenced smart weapon in the game, so definitely take advantage of it. One of my favorite smart submachine guns to use with this build is the prototype Xing Mark V. So it fires explosive rounds, number one, and the modified automated targeting system guides bullets to up to 3 targets while aiming, perfect for when you're outnumbered. I really enjoy this SMG. I actually used it with my Oda build here on the channel, and that did have a heavy focus on katanas, but the submachine gun still performed extremely well. It's one of my favorites. It's in an archetype that's really good. Definitely take advantage of it. The last smart SMG on the list is the Xing. So it deals additional electrical damage with a small chance that it will apply an EMP on impact. Lastly, moving on to pistols. First up here, we have the Crime Stopper. So it can lock onto 1 additional enemy when aiming, freeze dirtbag. Rounds have a chance to disable cyber limbs, immobilizing the enemy and increasing crit damage. Crit chance is momentarily increased after equipping this weapon. The next one we have is the Genjiro. So rounds per burst increase to 4. So it's a 4-round burst smart pistol. It increases magazine size and projectile speed. When aiming, you can lock onto 4 targets simultaneously. Projectiles deal additional electrical damage with an increased chance to apply shock. Next on the list, we have the iconic version of the Kappa, which is the Kappa X Mod 2. The only difference with this and the regular Kappa version is that this one fires explosive rounds and allows for additional modification for an iconic pistol. As you can tell, a majority of iconic weapons cannot be modified, but with certain ones, you can put some modifications on here. Again, I did put 2 smart weapon mods on here because I want that increased bullet velocity and arm penetration, and I want a larger targeting reticle and a longer time to have targets stayed on. But again, you can upgrade your mods and put on a variety of mods that you have available. Next up on the list, which I feel like it had to be mentioned as a weapon overall, which is the Malorian Arms 3516. This is Johnny Silverhand's pistol in the Malorian series. Again, it's the only other Malorian manufactured weapon in the game, and I feel like if you did want to use Johnny's pistol in this, you totally can. And the last one on the list is the Ogu. So this is another smart pistol, fires a burst of 2 explosive rounds. Hits have a higher chance of dismemberment, and each dismemberment increases crit chance and the chance to apply bleeding. If you have other weapons you want to substitute in, definitely let me know in the comments. There's a variety of weapons in this game that you can use. And if you want to figure out how to get these iconics, definitely go over to the Cyberpunk wiki page or Google on how to get any of these weapons. There's plenty of videos and information out there to help you. Now let's talk about where to put your attribute points and what perks to look into for this build. As you can see, I am level 60. I do have Phantom Liberty, which means I had 10 extra attribute points to look into. As you can tell, each one is 15 except for tech. Tech is 20. I had 1 extra attribute point left over, and I just put it on body. For body, I would at least make it 15 out of 20, mainly because of this middle column, which is all about health. Regen, definitely put on Painkiller with Combat Kid, Dwarf Head, Speed Junkie, and Army of One. And then in this middle one up here at level 15, Adrenaline Rush. This pretty much gives us bonuses to our health regen bonus, and unlocks Adrenaline Rush, which pretty much allows our health items to give us even more health on top of our base health, which is going to be very good for us. Definitely put on Calm Mind here with Juggernaut. Again, with Adrenaline Rush, we get more movement speed and damage, then also Unstoppable Force. We gain immunity to knock down blinding while we have Adrenaline Rush. We definitely want to take advantage of that. Now, I know what you're thinking off to the left here. We have all these shotgun bonuses we aren't going to be using. As I said, the Beijing Chong, it's a smart shotgun, but it's mainly a rocket launcher, and with the explosive damage, we can take advantage of the tech skill tree more. For reflexes, go ahead and make it 15, especially for this middle column here. This is all about movement and movement tech. So definitely put on Slippery with Muscle Memory, Multitasker, and then Parkour. Definitely max out Dash here. Put on Steady Grip with Can't Touch This and Mean Streak. And then the main one here, which is air dash, maxes out to level 3, which is how we can dash in midair. And then definitely toss on aerodynamic, then also aerial acrobat, pretty much gives you more control in midair. And then this left column has a heavy focus on assault rifles and SMGs, so definitely want ready, rested, and reloaded with mind over matter, tunnel vision, and then spice of life. And then you definitely want sharpshooter because each successful shot grants a stack of sharpshooter, which allows us to have a bonus to our stamina regen rate, and we definitely want that if we're going to be shooting a lot of guns, which we are. Definitely put on spray and pray with shoot to chill, and then also practice makes perfect. For technical ability, go ahead and max out to level 20 since we are going to be taking advantage of 2 out of the 3 legendary perks here. But for this middle column, it's all about cyberware bonuses, so definitely put on all things cyber with Chrome Constitution, Renaissance Punk, Lucky Day, and Driver Update. Like I said, if you go to upgrade your cyberware later, just take off, one of the perk points, put on Chipware Connoisseur, upgrade your gear, take it off, and then just put Lucky Day back on. This pretty much saves you 1 perk point, which is definitely going to be really good here. Definitely toss on License to Chrome, max this one out for extra cyberware on the skeleton, cyborg, ambidextrous, which is how you get that extra cyberware slot on the hands, extended warranty, and then build different, which is how you get the cellular adapter piece of cyberware, on the integumentary system. And then at the top here, we have Edge Runner. So this will allow you to exceed your cyberware capacity by up to 50 points at the cost of 0.5% max health per point. So when you neutralize an enemy during combat, there's a 0.1% chance for each point you're over capacity that you'll enter a Fury state. So pretty much go Cyber Psycho in this state, but you do get some bonuses here, which is increased damage, crit chance, and crit damage. Lasts 12 seconds and plus 3-second duration for each neuralization while Fury is active. So as long as you're killing targets with Fury on, you can pretty much have this bonus up constantly. On the left side, we have a focus on health items and grenades, so definitely toss on Glutton of War, max out Health Freak, and then put on Pyromania. We get a variety of bonuses to our health items, recharging faster, more blast radius, more movement speed, gaining stacks of Pyromania, which is fantastic here, which then allows us to take advantage of Heat Shield, burn this city, and friendlier fire, so we take less resistance from, explosions that are caused by us. And then we definitely want this one that merges both ambidextrous and friendly fire together, because this is the bonus to the projectile launch system. So it gives us an extra charge, recharges faster, has an additional charge speed when we have no charges, plus 200% additional recharge speed out of combat, and we have a 5% instant chance to have it recharge after neutralizing an enemy, and can also take advantage of the Burn This City perk, plus any other explosions like the Beijing Chong or weapons that can fire explosive rounds can also take advantage of Pyromania. And then speaking of the one that links here, we have Pyromania and License to Chrome, which meets here in the middle, which is Ticking Time Bomb. So it charges a powerful EMP that hits nearby enemies after 3 seconds when you activate Arsene Devastan, for example, and applies stun and deals damage proportionate to the quantity and tier of cyberware implants that you have installed, minus 50% incoming damage while charging the EMP. So basically, we can stop even a max stack officer in their tracks with this EMP if they get close. For cool, I put it at 15 so we can take advantage of some pistol bonuses here on the left. Again, focus, which is very good here, gives us increased headshot and weak spot damage, and allows us to save on stamina when we're aiming down sights. And then go ahead and toss on No Sweat with rinse and reload, and then head to head. Definitely max out Deadeye here, basically gives us even more bonuses and allows us to hit fire completely accurately with pistols that, aren't smart weapons necessarily. We can still take advantage of it with smart weapons, but again, those have auto tracking. Neither here or there. Definitely put on California Reaper, then also High Noon. For intelligence, I actually put this at level 15. Now, I understand we're not going to be net running, but on the right column here, we can actually take advantage of some smart weapon bonuses. Definitely max out Acquisition Specialist with No Escape. These ones pretty much gain bonuses to our lock-on speed and allow us to lock onto targets basically almost constantly, even if it runs out with No Escape. Again, we also have Target Lock Transfer. Definitely max this one out, so when you switch between smart weapons, it no longer interrupts the target lock. Definitely put on Targeting Prism so you can target even more targets with smart weapons, and Terminal Velocity, which increases projectile velocity and lock-on range for 10 seconds after neutralizing an enemy with a smart weapon, and can stack up to 3 times. And finally, if you have access to the Relic skill tree through Phantom Liberty, there are a couple things I would recommend. First up being in this bottom right portion, which is Vulnerability Analytics, which allows you to shoot vulnerabilities in enemy armor and cyberware, which gives you 100% crit chance on it, plus 25% armor penetration and other weak spot damage bonuses. And when you deal enough damage to the vulnerability, it'll explode and cause an EMP blast around that target for 3 meters. And then its bonus, which is machine learning. So after you destroy a vulnerability, plus 10% frequency for new vulnerabilities to appear on other enemies, and a plus 5% crit damage against vulnerabilities. It lasts 25 seconds. The effect can stack up to 5 times, and reaching those max stacks doubles all of these effects. And then for the other Relic perks, I'd recommend looking into Jailbreak. It gives you bonuses to your arm cyberware. You know, the Mantis Blades, Gorilla Arms, Projectile Launch System, and the Monowire. Like I said, I'm going to be maining the Projectile Launch System. The reason being is because once I charge it up, I get 5 rockets instead of 1, which is kind of broken in and of itself. Obviously, there's some bonuses to the Gorilla Arms and the Mantis Blades as well. So whether you're using any one of the 3 like I mentioned, you can also put on the bonuses for the Projectile Launch System, which is Launch Capacity Override, the Gorilla Arms, which is Limiter Removal, and the Mantis Blades, which is Spatial Mapping. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is my Cyberpunk 2077 Morgan Blackhand build. Like I said, unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that was provided in his wiki is not available in the game, so we had to do, you know, a moderate amount of substitutions, but I feel like this is probably the most lore-accurate build we can get, and as you could tell from the footage, it's extremely destructive. But if you have anything that you like using or any suggestions for the build, definitely put it in the comments. I'm testing stuff out in this game all the time, and again, you can definitely play around with this build. There's multiple weapon options, multiple pieces of cyberware, and multiple things you can do with your attribute points and perk points that you can mess around with for yourself. In any event, if what you saw was valuable or entertaining to you, be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then turn on the bell next to notifications so you don't miss out on another build video here on the channel. If you didn't know, we live stream on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok simultaneously across the board, so if you want to tune into a live stream, again, we will be live 3 days a week in the evening starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. We are mainly going to be playing Destiny 2. Again, we are doing Dungeon Carries, Warlord's Ruin Dungeon Carry, so if you need help with it, we can definitely get you in the queue. But we're also going to be playing other games, and if you want to be proactive, join my Discord, because that's where we're going to be chatting, and we also have people looking to play Destiny 2 together, and we're also talking about other games, PC tech, anime, and more. And lastly, if you want to support the channel even more, you can look into becoming a member. If you don't know what a membership is, it's essentially like a Twitch subscription, but it is cheaper, and the main benefit with it is you get access to all of my videos early as a member, no matter what tier you are. But there are some other benefits in there that I would recommend checking out. And if you would like more information, all you have to do is press the join button next subscribe, and I'll give you a rundown with all the details you need. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been your boy. We'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.